Hello and welcome back to EV Platform. We have a very interesting car to talk about today. We have the Dacia Spring Electric. This car is really cheap, may well be the cheapest electric car in Europe available. We want to get stuck into some details, talk a little bit about the car, but we also want to have a conversation back in studio today about what this car means for the EV industry, because manufacturers are no longer justified in charging so much of a premium because it's an EV. So we're going to look a little bit about the competition and what this car means for the general EV industry.
Thanks, Blake. Yeah, probably the biggest talking point about this electric vehicle is the fact of the price point. We think it's going to be around £14,000 in the United Kingdom when it does come, and it is coming in right-hand drive 2023 or 2024, we've been told by somebody from Renault Ireland here where we're based. In France currently at the moment, with government scrap schemes and grants, etc., it's coming in at a mouth-watering juicy price of €12,500. So really one of the most inexpensive electric cars. There are cheaper quadricycles out there, etc. A couple of different versions of it. You can get a consumer version, you can get a business or cargo version, so lots of different variations as well. So if you're looking for an inexpensive electric runaround for yourself or your business, this might be it. Blake, give us some of the details of it.
Yeah, okay, so what's driving it? What's pushing it forward? We have a whopping 33 kilowatt motor. Just to give you a little bit of perspective on that, the old Nissan Leaf that I drive, one of the slower EVs out there on the road at the moment, actually has an 80 kilowatt motor. So this has only got 33. It's giving you 44 horsepower and 125 Newton meters of torque. So this is absolutely not fast, but then again, we're not really expecting that for the price that we're paying, are we? You've got a top speed of 125 kilometers per hour. So where I am, that's just a smidge actually over the speed limit on motorways. So, it's completely fine. It's enough, isn't it? You got the 0 to 100 or 62 miles per hour sprint, in that kind of 15, 16 second mark. So it's not going to be the fastest car, and there's not too much to dwell on there. So Derek, do you want to tell us a little bit about battery range and charging? Because that's probably a little bit more important for this type of vehicle.
Yeah, this size of vehicle at this price point, you're not going to get a huge battery, but it's respectable. It's 26.8 kilowatt hours usable. Charging the Dacia Spring is going to be, Dacia Spring Electric is going to be a front charging port, very much like the MGs that we've seen of late. Then you have 6.6, so it's not the maximum you can get on your home charger on AC. And it takes about 4.5 hours to charge from 0 to 100. So with these small batteries, there are benefits in it, charges faster. CCS then on DC, you will have 30 kilowatt charging. It has a WLTP, so an official rated range. So this is where all manufacturers use the same rating. That has 225. It can be optimistic, so realistic. We're hearing that it will do about 170 kilometers and normal driving, and then motorway driving during the winter time. So speed and temperature will affect an electric vehicle's range. We reckon it'll probably bring it down to about 120 kilometers, which is still respectable. Blake, that's the technical data. What's it look like?
Yeah, nice little round up a range there. I think it looks absolutely fine. It's got an almost identical usable battery than my old Nissan Leaf, and I've cracked 240 kilometers out of one of those in the past, so it might actually do okay. But what does it look like? Well, we've got that kind of compact crossover SUV look. Now, we are not going to be expecting the most stylish crossover SUV here, and we're not really getting it either. But it does have a few flares. You can option this kind of orange pack, which gives it those little flares of color and trim around it. I think it looks absolutely fine for the money. It's pretty good, is it not? Let us know in the comments. In terms of its space and stuff then inside, like what are you getting? It's going to be a 300-litre boot. And you fold the back seats down, that'll go up to 600. But you can also option, the commercial vehicles that we're going to see in time, the commercial versions of this, where the back seats are taken out. 800 litres of space, 325 kilos of cargo payload. That's not too bad. You got things like LED lights on it. The business version has 14-inch rims, which is pretty small, but hey, it'll do for me anyway at that price. Derek, anyway, that's what the car kind of looks like. Tell us a little bit about the interior in terms of tech or what sort of specification are you getting inside?
You're paying what you get for. And so, yeah, it's not going to be a Tesla, but
Mhm.
it's perfectly fine. There's an app that you can download from Dacia for free, and that allows you to precondition, which is really good.
Mhm.
Internally, then there's some manual air conditioning, which you're getting air conditioning. And in those couple of days of the year when you need it, it's there when you need it. Electric windows, I'd be quite happy with wind up ones if it was a cheaper price point, but we're
Mhm.
getting electric windows. Then you've got some screens. You've got a 3.5-inch screen in front of the driver for the driver display, and then a 7-inch screen for infotainment. So let's put all those pieces together, Blake, and then we're wondering why other manufacturers aren't coming into that cheaper price point with electric vehicles. What are your thoughts?
They need to stand up and start doing it quickly. And I think I really want to congratulate Renault Group, or Dacia for bringing this car in at such a price point, because we're starting to see vehicles coming from China in particular at price points that are so much lower than the European counterparts. And it's really causing some waves. Like me and you, we've both reviewed a couple of the MG cars on this channel, and you on your own one, EV Review Ireland. And what you're getting for your money is just incredible. And the European manufacturers really need to stand up and get some cars in cheaper, faster. So well done to them for doing that. Derek, what do you think? Like, how's this fitting in your price points, competition, things like that?
Yeah, and I think currently we're filming this in just coming into November of 2021, and there is a semiconductor shortage. That's what we've been told anyway. And
Mm,
manufacturers are focusing electric vehicles that they're able to get the chips for at the higher price point because they're getting bigger
yeah,
margins. So you can see some of the brands like Volkswagen are taking away the base model ID3, but this entry level point and Dacia and how well it's selling around Europe in left-hand drive markets, the fact that we're getting in Ireland and the UK in 23 or 24, hopefully even sooner. But like you're saying, like, we've got the Chinese wave coming. We've both done the MGs. They'll be
mm,
bringing in I think it's a B segment is what they call it. So something similar to this in
yeah,
2021. So based on the MG3 combustion engine. So that size, that form factor. So if other manufacturers, like you said, don't do this, there will be others that take that market share, and people will just be used to it. They're happy with that price point. They're happy with electric vehicles.
yeah,
Let us know in the comments what you think, whether you'd be happy with this price point, whether you're happy with this level of equipment.
yeah.
Final wrap up words, Blake.
Yeah. Look, the last thing just to consider really is who's going to buy this car. Who's it going to suit? Because we're looking at DC charging of 30 kilowatts, which, let's face it, is terribly slow. We really criticized the Mazda, the MX-30, for having 37. Even like Nissan Leafs and Renault Zoes that have been out for nearly a decade have 50. Newer cars are moving up into that 200 and possibly even 300 mark now in the next year or so. The range is it adequate? Depends on what you're buying it for, and then space inside. So I can see this being a really, really strong option for a lot of people who are looking for that second car, possibly, or just need something cheap. They want to go EV. They're not doing massive long journeys, and there's enough space in the back. What about yourself, Derek? Can you see any? Are we forgetting about the commercial applications for this, or car sharing, or where do you see it fitting in?
Yeah, car sharing would be good. Commercial deliveries like pizza deliveries. There's a couple of
Yeah.
franchises here in Ireland that have Renault Zoes, which are perfect size for pizza deliveries. Nobody's going to be ordering that many pizzas at one time, but more expensive, obviously coming from the same group, but you're talking probably 10,000 euros more expensive. So when you
Mm,
take the overall running costs, and I know we've spoken about this off air, Blake, where you look at the cost of ownership, the total cost of ownership of something like this. So it's coming in at a more affordable. We're not saying that it is a cheap car. You
mm,
can still buy secondhand electric vehicles, but you are able to buy a brand new car with manufacturer's warranty direct from the manufacturer. You're able then to look at over a 5 or 10 year period running costs, maintenance, servicing, all of these things that electric vehicles really excel in. Now we're starting to see that magic equation, because people who talk to myself and Blake and say electric cars are great, but they're so expensive. Now we're able to offer a more practical electric vehicle. And the fact that it does charge in 4 hours, like if you're able to charge it off street at nighttime when you're sleeping, perfect. Even if you're not and you have to go to an urban charging hub, 4 hours still isn't bad.
mm.
Blake, what do you think overall then? Do you think it's a solid proposition? Are we excited about seeing this going into the market? Right-hand drive anyway, where we're based, but left-hand drive, we're looking forward to seeing them more and more of them on the roads.
Yeah, hugely excited. Just the fact that it comes in at such a cheap price point and puts it up to the manufacturers who've been charging so much money for EVs so far. it's getting a lot of praise from me on that. But Derek, I think we feel like we've spoken about this for long enough now. It's time for people to jump down in the comments, let us know what they think, because it's important to keep the conversation going about this.
For sure. Make sure you've liked the video, leave a comment, make sure you've subscribed to the channel. This has been EV Platform.
Thank you very much for watching.